essential services that we want to make sure as much as possible they still continue to function. That is the principle that's driving us forward during the shutdown. It's going to continue to be the principle that drives us forward. But let's be honest, if this thing drags on for another few days or, God forbid, another few weeks, we are going to have to lay people off. We're going to have to save money in some places so the essential services don't get turned off in other places. That is the reality of the government shutdown that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have foisted upon the administration.
We're officially in day 2 of the federal government shutdown, and Vice President J.D. Vance already hinting that layoffs may be in the future if it continues. It comes as the Trump administration froze $26 billion in funding for Democratic-leaning states, following through on his promise to use the shutdown to target Democratic priorities.
That funding included $18 billion for transit projects in New York, another $8 billion for green energy projects across 16 other states like California and Illinois. Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, both from New York, have spoken out against this funding freeze as a form of blackmail, saying it would put thousands out of work. And even Republican senators, some of them, have been slow to get on board. North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis told Reuters he was concerned that move could make it harder to exit the shutdown, saying, quote, they need to be really careful with that because they can create a toxic environment here. Hopefully they're working with the leader and the leader with them on not creating more work to get us out of this posture.
But in a rare show of unity amid the shutdown, some members of Congress from both sides are calling for their paychecks to be docked. Representative Eugene Vindman says he will defer his salary for the duration of the shutdown and has introduced a bill blocking members of Congress from getting paid, something Republican Senator Rick Scott says he can get on board with. Wow.
I actually introduced a bill also
Yes.
so members of Congress don't get paid if we can't pass a budget or fund the government. If members of Congress start to feel that pain, then it'll become as real for them as it is for everyday Americans.
See, I'm a business guy. I always pass budgets. And by the way, if you didn't do your job in business, you didn't get paid. You don't show up and do your job, you don't get paid. Why are we getting paid? We shouldn't get paid if we don't do our job. We need to figure out how to work together to get our budgets done. It's as simple as that.
Well, instead of not paying yourself, you can just get the job done. Meantime, the blame game for the shutdown continues, but it's extended beyond Capitol Hill. Yesterday, Housing and Urban Development posted a large banner on its website that read, quote, the radical left are going to shut down the government and inflict massive pain on the American people unless they get their 1.5 trillion wish list of demands. The Trump administration wants to keep the government open for the American people. That banner has been edited in the hour since, but many are criticizing the move, claiming that it was a violation of the Hatch Act, which imposes limitations on federal employees in order to ensure federal programs are nonpartisan. I mean, J.D. Vance said this isn't political, but this is very political. The firings are not like, oh, just to save money. Like, this would be very political. Everything that he's doing in New York or all the funds they're freezing are specifically to target Democrats. And I don't think that that's a way to solve anything. I think we missed the boat on how to solve this. Was conversation that happened well over a month ago. The new way to solve it, once they do decide to open back up the government, would be to have a long-term conversation about expanding the budget so that we're not having the same dialogue in a few months. Rather, we can extend it for a year, which I know is rare in these times, that we're constantly having this conversation about how to do this over and over again, these CR conversations. So I just would love for them to do their jobs. I think the biggest issue is that Americans are frustrated. And then there are people, because we talked about who's getting the brunt of this. And most people are furloughed, like you said, and will get paid later. But I was looking, and there's some other people that are like hourly workers that are impacted, that do work in federal buildings that are considered federal contractors, like janitors, cafeteria staff, and security guards, that straight up have no guarantees to back pay after the shutdown ends. So they might show up for good merit because the rest of the staff is still there and they want to secure the place or bring food to people that are working on furlough, but there's no guarantee they get their money, which is, to me, like wildly disrespectful to American people that are blue collar trying to work around D.C.
Yeah, them I feel sorry for. It is joy to me the idea of members of Congress not getting paid.
That's a ridiculous solution.
No,
I do appreciate it, I guess.
Here I am. I'm going to say something nice about a Democratic proposal.
Okay, let's listen.
Eugene Vindman. He's a Democrat proposing that. I like this idea to not pay them while the government remains shut down. I think that's a great idea. So kudos to you, Eugene Vindman. I've never said anything nice about somebody whose last name is Vindman before. But that's a great idea.
Do you know a lot of Vindmans?
Well, there was that. He's a Alexander Vindman. Thank you, Louis. That's the guy. He was like a very anti-Trump public official involved in the Ukraine impeachment stuff. If memory serves me. Memory is not serving me today. Brain not working. The other thing, green energy boondoggles getting canceled. Music to my ears as well. So we can cancel all those contracts. That's great. I'm sure that, unfortunately, the funding is going to just resume whenever they decide to fund the government after all, which I am predicting will happen. I hate making predictions because I'm always wrong, but I would guess in the next few days. I don't think this is.
Oh, we disagree there. I think they're about to drag this thing to the end of time. You know why? Because
they're already
number one.
Their resolve is weakening.
Well, no,
they being the Democrat Party.
I think the first thing is that Chuck Schumer has more on the line this time and knows that he did this once of caving before it got to this point. And caving, I don't say that in a way that I agree with it. I'm saying the way that his party is looking at him and the judgment that he's going to receive for not doing anything. And now
he's afraid of your girl. He's afraid of
AOC. Yeah, I know. And so I think with that compounded with the idea that the winning issue for Democrats right now, and which has been for a while, has been health care, health insurance, and all that conversation. So I know the Obamacare site we talked about wasn't the best, but the overall idea is that this is the party that's going to protect your Medicaid and Medicare coverage. This is going to protect your health insurance for longevity,
you
right?
Like your health insurance plan, and we're going to kick you off it.
But the point is, if you are of that mindset and look at polling, they're doing well with health care, and the Republicans are not doing that well because of the big, beautiful bill and all the repercussions that have yet to be seen. And so I think that they cannot back down on this one issue that they're winning on, especially after an identity has been largely lost about where to go next when Kamala lost the election. Like, they can't just throw their hands in the air. This could be an issue to start the resurgence of, okay, we're standing on business against Republicans, and not just in a way like Newsom, where we're fighting fire with memes. We are literally doing policy things that benefit the people and constituents we go home to, which I think is a valid thing for the Democrats to do, even though I don't like it attached to a shutdown.
It should not be under-discussed how much Schumer's strategy is attempting to keep AOC at bay. There is so much dissatisfaction with leadership. She could primary him in 2028. I think he is truly afraid of that. I watched a clip of her on with Chris Hayes the other day where he asked her point blank, are you planning to primary him? And she was like, well, this is not about me. She did not answer the question directly. Now, I was talking to Niall yesterday, and he said that he thinks she's probably not going to run against Schumer because she's going to just go straight for running for president. Why would she, settle for a lesser, a very tough race for a difficult job when she could run for president? So we'll
President
see if that's the
AOC,
case.
that has a nice ring to it.
No, but it will create a lot of content, and as a content creator, I am enthusiastic about
seeing how
the
Bernie
prospect of
Sanders
that run.
did. It was a very lively, spirited time to experience that.
Did you see that video of Bernie and AOC hanging? They were probably like right outside, right here. There's a video of them giving their thoughts on the shutdown, walking down the street.
I should have ran downstairs, man. I missed them.
I'm scooting in the background. I'm just zooming past on my way to do our show. Next up, Tim Walz is defending Kamala Harris for criticizing his debate performance in her new book. What a loyal man. Don't go anywhere. We'll discuss.